look at slower home price appreciation, rising mortgage rates, and fewer home sales. And that last one's key because new home buyers and sellers usually renovate. They actually spend 30% more, the buyers, than the long-time residents. And with fewer sales, renovation growth could fall to the lowest level in 3 years, according to Harvard's Joint Center for Housing. Spending, however, will rise because construction costs are still incredibly high. The slowdown will hit home improvement retailers like Home Depot, Lowe's, Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin just reported a very disappointing fourth quarter, quote, across the board, according to its CEO. And we're now seeing weaker consumer sentiment in housing because most people believe prices have peaked. And when people feel like their home's losing value, they generally don't want to put more money into it. Tyler?
Diana, thank you. How would a slowdown in remodeling impact the home improvement and housing-related stocks like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Masco? Here to break it down is Alvaro Lacaya. He's an analyst with G Research. Alvaro, welcome to you. And before we get started, is there a difference in your mind between renovation and remodeling, or are we talking about the same thing?
I think generally when you speak about the market, you're speaking about both of them. But obviously when you talk about remodeling and the remodeling piece and then the break and fix piece, right? So they both have different elements to it, but generally they're spoken about together.
I asked because Home Depot and Lowe's, I mean, these are stocks. So the argument is if home sales are dropping, people aren't going to spend as much on fixing up that new house. And I can speak to that. We were those people not too long ago. But if you're in the house and you're not going to move for other reasons and you're stuck in the house, people say, well, then they actually are going to renovate and remodel. And that was one reason to own the likes of Home Depot and Lowe's. So what camp are you in?
That's correct. I mean, if you look at the average age of the U.S. housing stock, you're talking about 40 years plus. And the more time you spend in the house, the more you're likely to reinvest. And when you talk about average selling prices, it's not that average selling prices are going down, it's that the appreciation is beginning to slow down. You've seen house appreciation of about 5 to 6% over the last 3 years. We think it'll probably come down closer to 2 to 3%, but that still is a fairly healthy level that should support repair and remodel growth.
So let me ask you, there are rules of thumb, and this may not be exactly your area, but if you do a home remodel, a new bathroom, a new kitchen, let's just say in suburban New Jersey, kitchen addition. Now, if you do one of these projects in this kind of environment, are you likely to get back less of your expenditure at sale than you would have in another environment? Or will the lower costs for construction that maybe as contractors have to compete, could that compensate for that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think in the environment we're in, you've seen some softness both in the fourth quarter and the first quarter, but I think people will continue to remodel their homes, and I think you'll continue to get a decent return. But over the next several months, we do see softness in the market, and it's been pretty clear based on the commentary from companies that have reported, as well as the macro data that has been published.
In terms of the commentary, what does Masco, what does Sherwin-Williams, what does Stanley Black & Decker tell me about Home Depot as well as Lowe's when they report? I mean, their close date on the quarters is later, and Sherwin-Williams did say that they were seeing an uptick when we came into the new year. So what are you expecting?
Yeah, well, I think going into the new year, there's definitely going to be a little bit of a lack of clarity because there are several issues that are hard to handicap going forward and what kind of an impact that'll be, including tariffs, for example. But it was encouraging to hear Sherwin-Williams say that December there was an improvement, and Lennar actually in their quarterly report also mentioned that December was an improvement over November. Timing when demand will come back from this pause is a little bit challenging, and I think it'll take at least several months to sort of figure out where we'll fall, and I think you'll see that come through in the earnings releases as we go forward, that there'll be a certain amount of uncertainty, at least for the first few months.